Getting off the ball very quickly tonight, Joe, and I think that's the key for Marty is that quickness. Just a little bit of a counter play on that where Danny Knight kind of fakes one way and turns around, and Marty just slashed right through there, and he's got full momentum when he hits the line of scrimmage.
And he's a big boy, 6'3", 215 pounds, and I'm sure Coach Knight is very pleased to see him running hard. 2nd and 4, the ball just about on the midfield stripe. And they'll come with the option. Knight will keep it and pitch back to Johnson, and he'll pick up 5 before he's smacked down.
Very similar play to the touchdown play, except this time Benton Harbor got a little bit more pursuit, so Danny Knight just pitches it right back to Kurt, and he gets an extra 4 or 5 yards and the first down.
Robert Reed making the tackle, 5'10", 180 pounds, and he is a senior.
You know, we talk about Marty Williams slashing and really humping it up in there tonight. When we have as many good backs as Portage Central does, there's an awful lot of competition there, and that's really a luxury for Coach Knight and his staff.
He certainly can enjoy freely substituting his backs. 1st and 10 now, Portage Central, and Marty Williams again on the call, and he is stopped by Frazier, that big horse in there on defense, but not before Williams gets down close to the 40.
You know, when the picture is right down there in the line of scrimmage, you can see right now that Portage Central is dominating that. When Marty gets the ball, the Benton Harbor down linemen on defense are already back off a step because the Portage Central linemen are pushing them back that way. So they're tackling on their heels.
Portage Central certainly controlling the line of scrimmage. They send 2 wide receivers to the bottom of your picture, Buller and Martin. And they go back to the top, and a fumble, I do believe. Handoff was mishandled in there, and Benton Harbor may have picked this one up. Mad scramble down there. And that's Marcus Watson, and indeed a turnover for the Mustangs. Benton Harbor takes over.
Never quite got the handle on the ball. I don't know if it was a quarterback not quite getting the ball through the dive back, but it kind of just rolled ahead. It was hard to tell until, of course, we saw the pileup and who got the ball.
Looked maybe like the handoff might have been a little low. Instead of being in the breadbasket, it hit him in the thigh pad, so to speak.
Could have been, Joe, and that is just not quite getting there.
Well, that's the quarterback's responsibility, I suppose, in the option offense. Get the ball to your back. In any case, Benton Harbor takes over, and Whitehead, the sophomore, running the offense, and he's got good speed still on his feet. And he's driven out of bounds close to that first down stake across the way. Kopp, the safety, in on the stop for the Mustangs. 2:09 left to play here in the first quarter. Portage Central 7, Benton Harbor nothing.
It's a big gain for Benton Harbor on a 1st and 10 situation where they want to get momentum on their side a little bit, and all of a sudden they get, looks like a little bit over 8 yards on that. Now they can play with a down if they need to, Joe, in order to make sure they get the first down.
Well, I think they'll certainly stay on the ground, and Whitehead stays at quarterback for the first time in the game. He'll run 2 straight plays. They try to pitch to Carr. He fumbles, and Portage Central has it. Munson, I think, picked it up for the Mustangs.
It looked like it was Eric Munson. There was just a little bit of the pitch was a little bit back, it looked like, and in the back for Benton Harbor was kind of backpedaling when he got it, and he got it kind of off of his hip, and it never quite got a handle on it, and there was a swarm of Mustangs there, and Eric came up with the ball.
So the 2 teams exchanged fumbles at just about the same position on the field. Portage Central has it now, 1st and 10 on the Tiger 40. There you see Bates, number 44, the middle linebacker, and he's coming on the blitz. Mustangs back to throw, and Knight with a beautiful touch has his man, and a first down close to the 25. Marty Williams out of the backfield.
Boy, nice throw by Danny Knight, but also a great catch on the run, and a couple of moves, and Marty Williams gained an extra 6 or 8 yards just on his moves alone afterwards.
Marty Williams doing a good job tonight running the football and also catching it. And Mustangs with the perfect call on the blitz, the screen pass.
Boy, that's for sure, Joe. Anytime that you can get everybody coming from Benton Harbor in there and you can just loft it just over their heads, it's a great play.
1st and 10, Portage Central, the ball at the 25. The Mustangs looking for more points. Kurt Johnson has it this time, and he's wrapped up quickly.
Get a flag, Joe, someplace around the line of scrimmage.
That's Nick Bergen, senior linebacker at 5'11", 185 in on the stop. And it'll be holding against the Mustangs. Referee Jim Masowitz making that call, an indication as Shane Springman checks in for Portage Central, and Marty Williams will come on out.
get a little more quickness in there with Shane, they may be thinking about going wide, especially if they're pushed back 10 or 15 yards with the penalty, that they may want to do something a little bit different, they meaning Portage Central.
Well, the Mustangs have made 2 mistakes, I guess, so far tonight. They've turned the ball over once, and now the holding penalty will back them up. They currently have the ball just about on the Benton Harbor 25, but the penalty will move them back. Holding is the call, and that'll back them back 15 yards, 10 yards to the 35.
That looks like a big penalty, and you're moved way back when you're an offensive-minded person or a fan of Portage Central. On the other hand, when you're a Benton Harbor fan, you think, gosh, they're still on our 34-yard line or 35-yard line almost going in, and we don't have much room behind us.
1st and 20 for Portage Central. We'll see if they elect to put the ball up or keep it on the ground. Long snap count. Dan Knight will run the option and pitch to Springman just into the ball game. And Springman makes a nice cut and another penalty flag as he's upended close to the 30-yard line by Marcus Watson.
Well, in a situation like that, sometimes when you see that penalty flag thrown out after the pitch, you look for an illegal block sometimes by a wide out for Portage Central in this case because they're the offensive team. Now they call it a clip, so it is some kind of a little situation out there where he blocked a little bit lower than he should.
You're getting good at this.
Well, it's just guess half the time, Joe, but it's a lot of fun to be able to do that and pick up what they're doing, try to figure out just the best way that each team can score or can do what they need to do in order to make their team win.
Well, the Mustangs not doing what they need to do very well right now. 2 straight penalties. This one will be declined. It'll bring up a 2nd and 20. Maybe 15. 2nd and 15, let's call it. If you believe the scoreboard down in distance. Ball close to the Tiger 30. Portage Central on a 2nd down play. Nick Roush, the center, has his hands on the football, and Dan Knight under center. Double wideouts to the bottom of your picture, and Dan Knight will drop straight back to pass and look down to the far side, but elect not to throw it, and he's going to go down. Marcus Watson again in on the stop, and also the big man. That's Larry Featherstone, 235 pounds, as opposed to his opposite side tackle, Frazier, at 260.
Got a couple of big horses in there to put some pressure on Danny Knight, and also I think that Benton Harbor had some excellent coverage down there. Portage Central was trying to run a play with 2 receivers deep, and Benton Harbor had 3 people down there to defend, and Danny Knight did a nice job of being able to see that, hey, nobody's open down there, I'll see if I can't get to the outside, and he couldn't quite do it.
And that's the end of the first quarter with our score, Portage Central 7 and Benton Harbor nothing.
Seemed like a quick quarter to me, Joe. Little penalties, which end up being big yardage that can kind of stymie a drive.
3rd and 22 for Portage Central on the Tiger 36. And Knight again will drop back to throw, and he's looking across the middle to Dargits into double coverage and overthrown.
Not a bad pass, Joe, when Chris Dargits was not quite open, but Dan Knight threw it where either Chris could run under it or it's going to be an incompleted pass. I said there's not much of a chance for an interception or anything, and now they're 4th down. They're still in what I would consider 4-down territory, so they've got another chance. We'll see what they do in terms of whether they'll run the ball and just move it down there so that Benton Harbor's got their backs a little closer to their own goal line, or whether they'll try to pass.
Dan Knight on 4th and 22, and he'll drop back to throw again. Pretty much the same play. Plenty of time to throw, but here comes the Tigers, and Knight eludes Watson, and now he's got some running room over on the far sideline, and he's driven out of bounds before he got the 1st down.
A lot of nifty moves by Danny Knight there. He had the good protection early, and again, Benton Harbor's defensive backfield is just putting the clamps on the receivers and not allowing anybody to be open so Dan can throw. So he made a nifty move around and got back down there, and it's almost as good as a punt, Joe, if you punt into the end zone, because they bring it out to the 20 anyway, and now it's on about the 27-yard line.
Well, Dan Knight ran out of real estate, and they'll turn the ball back over to Benton Harbor. 1st and 10 for the Tigers. Harden, the quarterback, and he'll throw. His first pass is completed. And still on his feet is Brewer, number 81, before Randy Buller makes the stop.
Excellent call by Benton Harbor. Portage Central was kind of up. Their linebackers were kind of uptight, and they call that pop pass where the tight end, just kind of outside releases and gets right into a situation where he's in that seam, and the defensive back's a little bit back, and he catches the ball, and then, of course, he made an excellent run with it.
He sure did. He almost broke it. A gain of pleased with the first half.
Oh, I'm certain that Bob is. He's done just about everything. A few little mistakes.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Tigers in Mustang territory. And this time the quarterback is Whitehead, and he's dragged down after a pickup of a couple by Chris Norman. They may want to keep Whitehead in there now a little bit. No, they're switching again with the quarterbacks. Reminiscent of the Dallas Cowboys of the early and mid-'70s with Craig Morton and Roger Staubach. Tom Landry couldn't decide who he wanted to play quarterback, and either can Benton Harbor's football coach. And Harden looks like he's the passer of the two, and he finds Williams across the 40 down to the 38 before he's driven out of bounds.
We may see Benton Harbor just open up and throw the ball a little bit. They've had an awful lot of success with it early compared to the way that they're running the football, and they may just try to loosen up the Mustang defense and just see how far they can go on the pass.
And I'm sure looking at films of if they saw that St. Joe game last week, they don't want to try and run the ball. 3rd and 2. Williams was the receiver on that last pass. He is split out wide to the right of Brewer. The tight end now will move up to the top of your picture, and the Mustang defense will also shift up with him. And they'll try and throw again. Whitehead hands it off, or it might have been that little pitch pass. Didn't quite see it.
Almost a shovel ahead. It looked like from our vantage point anyway, Joe, that I'd call that an incompleted pass, but they did not. They called it or not a completed pass, but I guess you might call it a fumble at that case. But it looked like he almost flipped it forward.
Now Chris Carr was able to pounce on it, but it sets up a 4th down. And so after a good play on 1st down, when they took over the football, they're lining up in punt formation. And the Mustangs come after it, but don't get it. And it's a good high kick, driving Martin way back inside the 10. He'll fake that little reverse and be down in the shadow of his own goal line, and that's Pewitt, not Martin.
Yes, he's down on the 5-yard line down in there. It's hard to tell sometimes where you're catching the ball and how you're going to move it, but when you have a punt block, which it looked like on, it may have been wiser for Steve to let that baby just roll right in the end zone and take it out on the 20.
That was what I was going to ask you. What do you do with that? You take the chance that it bounces and stops dead on the 1, or do you let it go in?
That's a tough decision, especially for a young athlete like that. And, of course, Steve's got the sure hands, so he knows he can catch the ball. And, of course, he's got the confidence that he can run it out also.
And the Mustangs will start this formation with a double tight end set. Norman and Stacy Young as Knight sneaks up the middle before he's sandwiched Larry Doyle and Nick Bergen on the stop. Doyle, the nose man, senior, 5'11", 180 pounds, and as we mentioned, Bergen, the linebacker.
A little more room now to move, too, and to do a few different things on the offensive side. They're out almost to the 10-yard line, just inside it, somewhere around the 9.
Dan Knight got himself some breathing room, and he got the play from Terry Martin, shuttling in and replacing Buller, 2nd and 5. Ball on about the 10. And we've got a penalty flag. What do you think? Too much time or motion?
Situation like that, maybe too much time or somebody lined up offsides, which would be an encroachment right away in the high school scene.
And see the official offsides it is. That's 2 for 2 there, John.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Now maybe we can go the right way all night long.
So the Tigers commit one of those mental mistakes that we've been talking about. They give the Mustangs 5 more and call it 2nd and 1. So Knight picking up 4 yards on his sneak, not 5. Mustangs looking to pick up that 1st down and get some more running room, and they'll give the ball to Williams. Big hole, and he's got the 1st down. Marty Williams, the senior, having a good night. He picks up that 1st down.
Again, Marty's being so explosive off the line of scrimmage, and that's so helpful when you're trying to especially get out of the hole like the Mustangs are. And now they're back up outside the 20-yard line. They've got a lot of room to move. They can just about do anything that they like to with their offense now.
Unofficially, Marty Williams with 30 yards on 7 carries. First and 10, Portage Central, and here comes the option again. Knight pitches it this time.